Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rakakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of the great millstone. Peace and salutations unto the Akim, the brothers pushing this truth through the four corners of the earth in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom, now more so than ever. To the scattered, the speckled Israelites who be scattered among the heathen, I say Shalom, and I say Shalom unto the few and faithful Akwat, the few sisters listening and learning. This is your brother Yerushalayim from the GMS Prophetic Vibrations Camp, coming out of Trinidad and Tobago with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rakakodash. This video going to be entitled Draconian Measures Second Round. Alright, so we seeing a second round of these measures, basically by the government. Alright, we know through the spirit that this isn't just the government, this is the wicked elite, that pushing us, down here, the 1%, as they call, who are mainly the so-called Syrian population and the French Creole population, and they are the ones who direct in the government. Alright, so pretty much that's what's going on, and most people think it's the government doing this. No, the government are just puppets. Alright, these harsh laws that they're instituting, but first off, we know that it's the Lord doing this, to punish the people, alright, for their iniquities, alright. But basically, Esau, the elite are the ones that the Lord uses, alright, to punish, to correct, alright. So let me go into let me just take a read of this article here. This article is from Loop Caribbean Local News. It says bars, malls, churches closed from midnight under new restrictions. So this was created April 29th. See a picture of the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley. Alright, it reads restrictions on the opening of certain businesses will be in place for the next 3 weeks. Alright, to treat with the rising number of what cases they're talking about there. Alright, the Prime Minister at a conference today announced the measures as he disclosed the highest number of those things to date. Alright, the following measures take effect from midnight and will remain until May 23rd, so pretty much 3 weeks to a month. Alright, 1, all restaurants and bars will be closed, all malls will be closed, all places of worship will be closed, all gyms will be closed, all spas, hairdressing salons, casinos, cinemas, clubs, theaters, public service operate on essential service only, flights to Tobago, recreational tours. Alright, and on all this, really all these measures are just designed to impact the daughters of music. But these things not really going to impact the elect. Yes, we got to go through our affliction, but through spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, our mind have been changed from this world. It has been conformed to the will and the mind of the Hamashiach. Alright, so we no longer affected like this as the mainstream, the normal, the 2/3. Alright, we pray, Lord willing, through faith that we are among the number of elect. Alright, it reads, in announcing the measures, the Prime Minister had some words of caution for those who may think that it's safe to host gatherings in their homes and other private spaces. Right? He warned that the police will exercise their authority where it is determined that activities are running afoul of public regulation. So they make these wicked regulations, alright, and basically now they're saying that that the police can intervene in your private space in your house. Right? So basically what is going on here is that whatever shadow of freedom and rights that you had, which really wasn't any rights at all, because it's just an illusion in this place, just like in the Matrix. Alright, you no longer have that. They create this pressure from above with this thing. Alright, they created that pressure from above, and pressure from beneath. People are afraid. People are afraid. Then what they're doing? Then they're shutting down the economy. Alright, basically, except for the big business, which continue to run. Alright. But the small man is get shut down, which is eliminating the middle class and making the poor more dependent on the government. Alright, therefore what, so if the poor, which is mainly Jake, alright, is afraid, so they're in fear of getting this thing, and they also in fear, they're also in fear for their life. They think they can't eat and drink because they don't have money to purchase items, and which the price is going up on goods, right? And famine is soon to set in, right? All these things coming according to the scriptures, according to Jeremiah 15 and 16. Famine is coming, sword is coming, right? Even in Trinidad, they're finding these businessmen bringing in large quantities of automatic weapons, all right, and nothing really being done, to impact them. But he's small man, if he caught with just one weapon, he basically is thrown in jail, right? He gets the whole brunt of the law, all right. So with that being said, I don't bother to go down too much into this thing. Let me see if there's anything else I want to read. In fact, let me read it out. It says, he said, and the advice that I have is that the existing laws and Public Health Act and the regulations that flow from there allow the police to intervene in private spaces. This means coming to your house, right? So we that much closer to martial law, we're that much closer to martial law. They can do pretty much what they want, and a lot of these police are evil jakes, right, and heathens. Okay, so if the police are duly of the opinion that what is going on is that private space is detrimental to the public interest, the laws exist for that. The police for that, and the police will be advised and guided. So basically they say, it's pretty much martial law. They could come and they could do what they want. All right, they could come and do what they want. It reads, and therefore you will not be allowed to do this with impunity. All right. And impunity really goes into exemption from punishment, or freedom, right? So basically, they're infringing on the rights, and people not really understanding what really going on, because what if you have family members and and basically close friends, we basically they're making it illegal for you to do that, to bring in people in your space, right? So which means your space is not your space, right? Your house is pretty much not your house. All right, this is the start. This is the start, and this is how it's going to go from now on. All right, so with that said, let me go to some quick precepts here. Let's go first to the book of Psalms, chapter 94 and verse 20. It says, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law? What they're doing is framing mischief, because they're setting up, they already make it legal now to come into people's homes and take them, and do pretty much what they want, right? Pretty much to do with their bodies what they want, and that's where it's going, right? They're not coming out right because they basically are wicked, they are serpents, people behind this are serpents, they are the elites, the so-called white man, right? And that this is what they're pushing. Verse 21 say they gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous, right? The righteous is Jake, and condemn the innocent blood. And that's pretty much what they're doing. A lot of people are out to their job now, people, the lower level, income earners, Jakes, who working for KFC, Royal Castle, right? All these places, they no longer have any income, until they lift this thing. And maybe there's no guarantee that they're going to lift this thing. When they say they're going to lift it, in a month, pretty much 3 weeks to a month's time, it may just get worse. So what you're doing, you're forcing them into a corner, right? They know exactly what they're doing. Make them dependent, make them needy, make them have to take that, that MOTB, that Revelation 13 and 16, all right? That mark, that's what it's all about. For them to take that mark. Let me go to a precept here in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1 and verse 4. It says, therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth. Right, the law. And let me read from a little higher up. Habakkuk 1 and verse 1. The burden of Habakkuk the prophet did see. O Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, how long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear? Even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save. But violence is from the wicked, and Jake, Verse 3 say, why dost thou show me iniquity, and cause me to behold grievance? And that's all going to come in this place. According to Jeremiah 16, they say that, men, women, and children will die of grievous deaths. Alright? For spoiling and violence are before me. And that's what's going on for all those who take that so-called cure. Right? And there that raise up strife and contention. Strife and contention is what coming here. One man will stand up against another and fight, It's coming here, these swords in their hands. 2 Ezra 15. Therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth, because these laws are wicked laws, right? They're not righteous laws as the 612 laws that we have active right now, alright? They're not righteous laws, it's wicked, abominable laws, right? And judgment doth never go forth. The proper judgment don't go forth. Jake always get the shitty end of the stick, alright? For the wicked doth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. And that's really what's going on here. And we have wicked Jakes who make a covenant with the heathen, these ministers and prime minister, who basically carrying this out. Alright? Behold ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously, for I will work a work in your days which you will not believe, though it be told you. So it will be real bad. This thing is going to be real bad. Jacob's trouble, not going to be nice. Alright? It's not going to be nice. It's not going to be a walk in the park. Let me go to the Apocrypha here. 2 Ezra chapter 8 and verse 50. It says, it reads, for many great miseries shall be done to them. That this is what's going to take place. Alright? Many great miseries shall be done to them, that in the latter time shall dwell in the earth, in the world. Alright? This is the latter time. Alright? There's no doubt that this is the latter time. We in the latter time. Alright? Shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. Yeah, they're proudful, because why? When they hear this word, they didn't turn back to the Lord, to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Alright? But understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory of such as be like thee. The glory of such as be like thee. Somebody will seek out this truth. The elect, this is for Israel alone. Alright? This is for Israel alone. I'm get a quick precept here in Luke, to prove, hey, this is the end, this is the end. This is Luke. Let me read from a physical sword. This is Luke chapter 21 and verse 24. It said, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, which is where we are right now. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, which it is, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled, which is we in this time right now. Alright? We in this time right now. The times of the Gentiles being fulfilled. Alright? So let me go to 2 Ezra 6 and verse 22. It reads, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. Right? All the business places, they unsown, because a lot of people not out to work. A lot of people, a lot of businesses going out of business. They can't afford to pay rent. They can't afford to cover their expenses and pay their staff. Alright, so this is real punishment coming here, from the Lord. 2 Ezra 6 and verse 22, reading over again. Alright, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Right, because all of the groceries and those things we had some of that last year. Alright, they're going to be empty, going to be famine, right? And the trumpet shall give us songs. Trumpet going into those sirens, the police, the soldiers, they're going to, when they come in, they're going to hear it, right? And the trumpet shall give us song, which every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. They're going to be afraid, right? When you hear that, because they're coming with brutal force. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. Why? Because just for food and resources, right? And the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, right? And in 3 hours they shall not run, which means what? We're going to have drought, all these things, right? Whoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of the world. The end of the world, the world of what Esau, right? 2 Ezra 6 and verse 7, it reads, then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Jacob unto Isaac, when Jacob, from Abraham unto Isaac slack, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So this, the end of the world that we read lower down, verse 25. This world is the world of Esau, the end of Esau's world, right? Because the earth doesn't come to an end, according to Ecclesiastes chapter 1. Alright? So this is the end here, And you pop back to, let's go back to the blue letter. Let's go into Ecclesiastes 12th chapter, the 3rd verse. It reads, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves. Now the strong men gonna be bowing themselves. Even those who had power, they're gonna be losing, they're gonna be losing money. Right? They're in a mess. Even in Babylon right now, the system is a mess. All the stimulus money that they pump into the economy, it's still not healing it. Babylon is not healed. Alright? So flee out of Babylon. Right? And the strong men shall bow themselves. Alright? And the grinders cease because they are few. The grinders gonna cease because they are few, They ain't gonna have much people working. They're not gonna have much jobs. Alright? Things they're gonna just get from bad to worse. Pretty much that's what's going on. Yet these wicked pastors and priests, preaching peace. When there's no peace. Alright? So it's Ecclesiastes 12, continuing, and 3. And the grinders cease because they are few. Right? And those that look out the window, and those be darkened. Right? And the doors shall be shut in the streets. And we've seen that already. When the sound of the grinding is low. Right? And he shall rise up to the voice of the bird, which we're talking about the alarm clock of the bird in the morning. And all the daughters of music shall be brought low. All those who like enjoyment, clubbing, relaxing, liming, as we say in Trinidad, they're liming, going to the beach. Alright? They're being brought low right now. Alright? All the musicians, they're being brought low. So they're going to be in fear. It's going to have great fear. And as I said before, Esau destroying the economy, knowing and thinking that, he will endure, due to the great wealth, as JC sing, the hydroplane on the bank, because they have so much resources, they believe they can survive this, but Yahweh Shem Yoshai is going to take a twist in them, and they're going to be in trouble. Alright? They're going to be in trouble. Because, for all the debt that they've taken, and Habakkuk 2 and verse 4 say, behold his soul, which is lifted up in him, and is not upright in him, and right in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he's a proud man, neither keep it at home, who lardeth his desires hell, and is as death. So, basically what's going to happen is that the elites of Esau, they're going to be like the dog and the bone. He had the bone in his mouth, he had power in his hand. Alright? But he looked in the water and the reflection, and he saw his bone look bigger. So he dropped the one in the mouth and he lost that. And he tried to get the one in the water and he failed. Because it's an illusion they're running down. It's a big illusion. They're not going to win this thing. They're going to only achieve up to a certain point. And Yahweh Shai is going to come and take them out. Right? Who enlarged his desire as hell and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that leadeth himself with thick clay, which go into heavy debt. Because the system is a mess. Americans trillions of dollars in debt. Over 27 trillion dollars in debt last time I checked. Alright? So they all the wealth that they building up, that they have, it's pretty much finished. Alright, let me go to one more precept here. Book of let's go to the book of James 5:1. It says, go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl, for your misery shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, which means rust. It's corrupt, right? And the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as though it would fire, right? You have heaped together treasure for the last days, You heap together all this treasure for the last days, but really and truly, who gonna benefit from that? Who gonna benefit from that? The elect of Israel. Lord willing, be among that number. We're gonna benefit from that, right? Ecclesiastes 2, And verse 26, it reads, for the Most High giveth to man that is good in his sight wisdom and knowledge. So he give that to the elect. Wisdom and knowledge is what these scripture is truth. Alright? As I say in Isaiah 33 and 6, wisdom and knowledge is stability of time, and the fear of the Lord is his treasure. So that's our treasure. Right? And joy is our joy. Right? Because we know that the Lord coming to save us, and the reward that he bringing with him. Right? But to the sinner, which is Esau Edom, he gave a travail, to gather and to heap up. So that's why the gathering and heaping up all this gold right now through the Spirit, is for Jake, for the elect of Israel, the elect, the church of the elect, church of the firstborn. Alright? That he may give to him that is good before the Most High. This also is vanity and vexation of spirit. So that's what doing, Esau heaping up, and treasure, is going to pass on to Jake. It says Job 27 and verse 16. It reads, though he heap up silver as the dust, and prepare raiment as the clay, so raiment is clothes, he may be prepared, but the just shall put it on, and the innocent shall divide the silver. So this is what's going to happen in the kingdom. He builded his house as a moth. Why as a moth? Because, a moth represents corruption, moth eaten, right? When things moth eaten is no good, right? So he built up his house, but really and truly it's going to be destroyed. It's going to be torn down, as the Lord say in Malachi, Malachi 1 and 4. He shall build, but I will tear down. The Lord going to tear them down. Roughly paraphrasing. So Job 27 and verse 18, it say he built up his house as a moth, right? Which is going to be waste. When they go into that word, right? I mean waste and fail is be a failure, and as a boot, which going into a boot that the keeper make it a boot like as a cover or hedge. He building his house, which go into the bunkers as well, right? When they're gonna build, all right. But they're not gonna stop. Those in America gonna still die. Only those who outside America in the bunkers gonna survive of the elites, right? The rich man shall lie down, but he shall not be gathered, right? He's not gonna receive. He's not gonna collect all that he gather up, right? He open up his eyes and he is not, right? Terrors take hold of him as waters, right? Waters surrounding us. It's serious. A tempest stealeth him away in the night. That we go into the nuclear missiles now. The east wind carried him away. And that east wind, is so prophetic that China's missile system is called the Dongfeng. For example, the Dongfeng 41. Alright? And let me see if I can pull that up here. This is the Dongfeng 41. It's a fourth generation Chinese solid fuel road mobile intercontinental ballistic missile system operated by People's Liberation Army Rocket Force. It is the latest generation of Dongfeng series strategic missiles developed by China. It could deliver up to 10 nuclear warheads which could hit different parts of the United States, and they will reach the United States within half an hour. Alright? So, and Dongfeng means east wind. Dongfeng means east wind. The east wind carried him away. Right? Let me go back here. The east wind carried him away, and he departed. Right? Which means what? Departed means what? He dies, he dead. And as the storm hurled him out of his place, for the Most High shall cast upon him and not spare. He shall fain flee out of his hand. Right? Which means what? He will wish to flee out of the Lord's hand. He will wish to be pleased and willing to get out of it. Right? And that hand is the power of the Lord. Right? Men shall clap their hands at him and shall hiss him out of his place, which is the nations who will come against and bomb her. Alright? So with that, I want to give all praises, honor and glory. I pray this lesson has been edifying. First off, giving all praises, honor and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakha Kodash. Right? Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of the great millstone. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect. Wa Abad Babal Shalom.